Welcome back to The Explainer. Now, if you're gearing up for exams, you know that when it comes to international relations, some partnerships are just must-knows. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most critical ones, the powerful, layered relationship between India and Singapore. So, let's start with a big question, the one that really gets to the heart of it all. Why is this tiny island nation, a literal dot on the map, considered one of India's most vital strategic partners? How does that work? Well, a huge part of the answer begins right here, with this absolutely staggering number. We're talking nearly $175 billion. That's the amount of foreign direct investment Singapore has poured into India since the year 2000. It's a financial powerhouse for India's growth. So here's how we're going to break it all down today. First, we'll look at the history. Then we'll unpack the economic might, followed by their strategic and defense alignment. After that, we'll look at what's next, and we'll wrap it all up with the key exam takeaways you need to know. Okay, let's jump right into section 1. To really get a grip on why this relationship is so strong today, you have to look back. The trust here wasn't just built overnight. It has roots that go back to centuries. And this timeline, wow, it just lays out an incredible story. It starts way back in 1819 with a shared colonial past. But look at how things accelerate recently. You've got a major defense agreement in 2015, and then bam, in 2024, it's elevated to the highest possible level. And that brings us to our first piece of essential jargon, a real key word for your notes, the Comprehensive Strategic Partnership, or CSP. Now, this isn't just some fancy diplomatic label. It signifies the absolute top tier of a bilateral relationship, a status India reserves for only its closest and most important allies. All right, let's switch gears and talk about the money, the absolute economic engine that powers this relationship. And believe me, the numbers here tell a pretty amazing story. This chart just says it all, doesn't it? I mean, look at that leap. We go from about $6.7 billion in trade to over $34 billion today. That is a more than 5-fold increase. It's just massive. And this visual really hammers the point home. That 24%, that means Singapore alone is responsible for nearly a quarter of all the foreign direct investment that has come into India in more than 2 decades. Think about that. One nation. Incredible. So what lit the fuse for this economic explosion? For your exams, you absolutely have to remember this acronym, CECA, the Comprehensive Economic Cooperation Agreement. This deal, back in 2005, was the game changer, the catalyst that really opened the floodgates for trade and investment. And this partnership is right at the cutting edge. Take the UPI Pay Now linkage. This is a total game changer, making it super easy and cheap to send money between the two countries. And here's the key fact. Singapore is the very first country with which India has this kind of cross-border, person-to-person payment system. Okay, another important term, Gift Connect. The easiest way to think about it is like a financial superhighway. It basically connects the Indian and Singaporean stock exchanges, so global investors can easily trade Indian Nifty products, all while the trading actually happens right here in India's gift city. It's pretty clever. But hey, it's not all about the economy. Let's dive into the equally critical pillar of defense. This isn't just a recent thing either. This is a deep connection built on decades of working together and a whole lot of trust. This table right here is your best friend for revision. It lays out all the key military exercises nice and clean. But if you remember just one thing from this, make it SIMBEX. That's the naval exercise. It is India's longest uninterrupted naval exercise with any foreign country. That speaks volumes about the level of trust, right? Okay, so we've covered the past and the present. But what's really exciting about this partnership is that it's always looking forward. They're actively building a roadmap for the future, together. And the main driver of that future vision is this, the ISMR, or the India-Singapore Ministerial Roundtable. This is the high-level forum where the big ideas get hashed out. And you'll want to pay close attention here because its focus areas are prime material for exam questions. So what exactly are they focusing on? Well, the Roundtable has laid out these 6 core pillars for the future. We're talking everything from green energy and advanced manufacturing to digital finance, healthcare, and skilling up the workforce for tomorrow's jobs. Now, I know that's a list, and lists can be tough to remember. So to help you lock it in for your exam, we've got a handy little mnemonic for you. Just think of the made-up word SADMAC. That's sustainability, advanced manufacturing, digitalization, medicine, and connectivity and skills. SADMAC. And listen, this isn't just talk on paper. This is happening right now. At a recent high-level business meeting, what were they discussing? Green hydrogen, digital connectivity, automation, all things that plug directly back into those ISMR pillars we just talked about. This is real, ongoing engagement. All right, let's bring it all home. This is the crucial part where we boil everything down into the absolute key takeaways you need for your final revision. First, the core concepts. Remember these 4 things. It's a comprehensive strategic partnership. The economic engine is SICA. The future roadmap is the ISMSR. And don't forget, Singapore is India's #1 largest trade partner in the entire ASEAN bloc. Next, the big number. If there's one figure you burn into your brain, let it be this one. 24%. A massive chunk of all foreign direct investment into India comes from this single country. That's a critical data point. And the other major number to remember? Over $34 billion. That's the sheer scale of the trade relationship today. A huge, bustling two-way economic street. So we'll leave you with this thought to ponder. This is more than just a normal friendship. It's what you'd call an all-weather partnership. It's a real anchor of stability and growth in a very complex part of the world. And the big question is, how will it continue to shape the future of the entire Indo-Pacific? It's definitely one to watch.